path on ELN Local News, confronting racial slurs.
And they drove off and I just stood there.
We'll bring you the details on a campus conversation about race.
A push for gender equality, sororities, fraternities, and drinking.
And a student reaching for new heights.
In a bad position of just like, Chris, what am I doing? Like, you could easily die right now.
What it takes to make it to the top. Good evening, and thanks for joining us for our last show of this January term. I'm Ashley McGettrick.
And I'm Preston Willett. We begin tonight with live coverage from Lakeside Meeting Room, where students and faculty are meeting to discuss sexual and racial harassment on campus. Our Michelle Alfini is at the meeting. Michelle, what can you tell us?
Well, students are gathered here to talk about racial intolerance. That comes after a black female student reported that two white males yelled racial and sexual slurs at her on campus. Right now, students are discussing ways to prevent this from happening again.
When I first was notified about the incident, of course I was appalled, but surprised, not so much.
Alex Bohannon, the vice president of the Black Cultural Society, says occurrences like these are more common than students may think.
It's frustrating because there are students like me who experience this on a daily basis, who know that this campus is not diverse because they sit in a classroom and they're the only person of color in the classroom.
The incident, described in an email by Dean of Students Smith Jackson, refers to ELN student Yasmin Arrington. She says she was coming back from a diversity event on campus when the slurs were yelled at her.
And they drove off, like they were yelling this, and they drove off and I just stood there just like I'm doing now. Like I could not believe what I heard.
There are almost 5,800 undergraduates enrolled at ELN. Less than 400 of them are black, making up only 6% of the ELN population. The Black Cultural Society hosted a meeting Friday evening in LaRose Theater, open to only black and African American students and faculty.
Coming out of the meeting, it was like, oh my gosh, that was amazing, and it's like we can change, you know.
The administration sees these meetings as an opportunity for change as well.
I'm really optimistic right now about this being a springboard for further development to creating that true inclusive environment that we aspire to be.
Until the situation on campus does change, Bohannon wants to remind students that these conversations matter.
This is the way that your peers feel about this certain situation. And even if you're not affected by it, you should be standing beside them.
Well, one of the main themes about this meeting is how students and staff can bring conversations like these outside of these forums in order to make lasting change on campus. Here in Lakeside Meeting Room, I'm Michelle Alfini, ELN Local News.
Thank you, Michelle. We will continue to follow this story as more develops.
In other campus news, Student Government Association Executive Secretary Matt Crehan has resigned. Our Gary Grumbach is in studio with the details. Gary?
Ashley, Matt Crehan's resignation is effective immediately. Here's what we know at this hour. Crehan, a junior, has vacated his position, one he was elected to in February of 2014. According to SGA President Joe Corvia, in the event of a vacated position, the Assistant Secretary is next in line. That assistant is current junior class secretary Ryan Kronowick. Matt Crehan says he will not be enrolled at ELN this spring. He says he is, quote, taking personal time off to deal with personal matters. We spoke with SGA advisor Dean Jenilyn Patterson and others. All refused to comment, citing student confidentiality. Patterson?
Thank you, Gary. Now let's check into the latest weather forecast. Our Al Drago is here to give us the weather for the week. Al, what's it look like out there?
Thanks, Preston. Well, it's been a gloomy start to the week as ELN winds down its winter term classes. Let's take a look at some midday scenes from around campus. Today's scenes and highs reach 48 degrees, but don't go running to your salmon shorts just yet. Tonight's low is expected to get down to 28 degrees. Now, let's take a look at your Phoenix 5-day forecast. Tomorrow should be sunny with a high of 45 degrees and a low of 24. That sunshine should hold out until Wednesday with another day at 45 degrees and a low of 26 degrees. Fake break continues on Thursday as the clouds return, bringing along a high of 49 degrees and a low of 32. But do not frown, the sun will return just in time for the weekend as temperatures reach 48 degrees with a low of 23 on Friday and finish off at 47 degrees on Saturday. Now to the big weather news that's making national headlines. Blizzard 15 is in its early stages of becoming what could be a historic storm for the northeastern area. Several Elon students have already began making their trek back home for break earlier than expected, hoping to beat the snow and not get stuck at the airport. 59 total flights that are arriving and departing today have already been canceled at Raleigh-Durham International, with many more delays and cancellations expected. Let's take a quick look at the weather in the north. The New Yorkers should expect the blizzard to begin around 10 p.m., but the temperatures will remain in the upper 20s. Boston's expected to enter the blizzard around 11 p.m. tonight, with the temperatures falling from 29 degrees to 19 in the morning. For now, I'm Al Drago with the weather. Back to you guys.
And with winter weather hitting hard in the Northeast, our Victoria Chapa looked into how people can prepare for potential flight cancellations over fake break. Victoria?
In the north. So, how are you going to check if your flight is delayed or even canceled? FlightAware.com website used to track your flight. United Airlines, American Airlines, and Delta have canceled all of those flights, leaving for New York and New Jersey today and tomorrow morning from the Greensboro Airport. Raleigh-Durham International Airport has listed a weather warning on its website and has delayed or canceled most flights coming up the Northeast. To keep you with your flight, you can request to have text messages sent to your phone with updates. Check FlightAware.com on the airline's website. Although JetBlue, AirTrain, and Delta cost $50 to change same-day flights and U.S. Airways $150, Southwest does not charge for a ticket change. Looking out for the college consumer and your wintry travels, I'm Victoria Chapa. Back to you.
There are 5 winter term study abroad programs currently trying to get home. Dean of Global Studies Woody Pelton says all the programs will return today, but they might be redirected. For example, the Greece winter abroad trip has been redirected from New York to Washington, D.C. There are 9 programs scheduled to come back tomorrow. The Study Abroad office says that they are currently working on getting those students home in a timely manner. We will keep you updated as more information comes in. Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, 3 cars were broken into with thousands of dollars worth of stolen stuff. Elon police say the cars were parked on the streets of Williamson near LabCorp. Stolen items included a $3,000 Canon camera, golf clubs, and a couple of bowling balls. Lieutenant Mark Sweat says Elon police are on alert.
We're stepping up patrols in those areas. We're a small department, we're 15 members, so when one person takes a report, we all see it.
Elon admissions staff, the financial planning office, and student tour guides began moving into the new Inman Welcome Center this morning. While the new tenants are moving in now, prospective students won't be in the building until February 6th. Admissions says the building is expected to be completely furnished and finished by May 1st, the date Elon will officially dedicate the building.
Fake break begins on Wednesday, and if you're trying to stay on campus the next few days, you might be wondering where you can eat. Acorn Freshie, Tapio's, and Biscuitville will be open throughout the week. Lakeside will be open on Wednesday and will not reopen until Sunday at 5. For other dining options open this break, check out our website.
Food options aren't the only facility limited on campus during the break. Campus recreation will also have limited hours throughout the week. Facilities on campus will be open Wednesday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Normal hours will resume on Monday.
Speaking of things to do during fake break, we are going to show you how to travel around North Carolina in under 1 tank of gas. Drinking on your own turf. It's an idea recently reported in the New York Times questioning why only fraternities throw parties. The article suggested that sororities parties might give women a home court advantage where they could feel safer. Our Alex Day looked in to see how this could affect Elon's campus.
There's always risk when having a party, and things always happen. It's just unavoidable, especially when you have college students and alcohol mixing together.
Noelle Walser is a junior sorority member who has heard the rumor.
You hear from time to time people putting other substances in the buckets or the drinks, things like that.
But Walser says she doesn't believe letting sororities have drinks on campus will change the chance of sexual abuse.
It's a risk anywhere you go. I know guys probably don't hear this that much, but girls are always told to be aware, don't drink too much.
And junior sorority member Courtney Kroll agrees.
I think if you were a freshman or underclassman who walked into a party and knew no one, you're definitely more prone to something bad happening.
Situation.
Yeah, definitely.
Kroll believes that it's less about where the drinking is happening, but more about exposure.
Things happen at ELN every year, and people just don't really hear about them, and I think it needs to be reported on because that's how girls make better decisions.
But Kroll does think sororities being able to hold social events could help.
I think it would be beneficial if they know where they are, they're comfortable where they are, they're more willing to, I don't know, just make better decisions because they're in comfortable surroundings.
Director of Greek Life Shanna Plasters says that students have inquired about allowing alcohol in the houses, but they understand National's policy.
None of our national sororities allow alcohol in their chapter houses. That decision was made decades ago by those national organizations.
But Plaster says that it's not just the party atmosphere that drives students toward possibly dangerous situations.
It's not just about the setting that something happens in. I think there are a number of factors to that.
Alex Day, Elon Local News.
We spoke with Plasters earlier today. She told us that sexual abuse cases are completely confidential, but no fraternity or sorority has been charged as a whole for sexual assault at Elon. She also said that it's hard to say if bringing social events to sorority houses will change the social culture of sexual abuse.
Gas prices might just make you want to get on the road and drive. Our Paige Peruso found a way to fill some time and your stomach.
A tank of gas can get you pretty far. I decided to test the tank and my appetite. I traveled around North Carolina to taste 3 different burgers in 3 different cities. We're here at our first stop on the tour. We are at Only Burger in Durham. I'm pretty excited because I didn't eat lunch, so I'm pretty hungry. So we're gonna head on in right now.
Oh yeah, gotta get a shot of that. The beauty. I'm gonna need 1,000 napkins. I'm nervous. Oh my God, my mouth can't open this big. All right, ready? That's a good burger.
All right, we are leaving Durham now and we're heading to Cary, where we're going to Corbett's Burgers and Soda Bar.
All right, we got our food. We got some waffle fries, which are my favorite type of fries, fun fact. Different kinds of burgers, but they're both good.
Last but not least, we stopped at Jim's Hot Dogs and Hamburgers in Graham. For 54 years, customers have been coming for the burgers, but staying for the heart.
You treat the customer right and put out a good product, they'll come back.
So if you're looking for a fun road trip and some good eats over fake break, you can try out your own burger tour of NC on just 1 tank of gas. This took me about 3/4 worth of gas, and I got to eat 3 delicious burgers. But my favorite had to be the one I ate at Only Burger, even if I did make a mess. Paige Peroso, Elon Local News.
And during fake breaks, some travel for burgers, others travel for service. A group of nearly 15 students will be heading to our nation's capital to help both the hungry and homeless. The participants will be going through the Kernodle Center's Alternative Break Program. Tyson Glover is one of the coordinators.
Some people like to call it a trip. We prefer experience because a trip thinks you're going on a vacation, but this is not a vacation. You're working hard. We want everyone who's going on this trip to know who they're servicing. It goes beyond just serving a spoonful of beans to somebody at a homeless shelter.
You don't need a classroom to get an education, and as our Zora Stevenson discovered, you can even learn a lot by getting high, legally, of course.
Wyatt Ladd, a junior at Elon, is taking some classes off campus this year, in the air.
Going up in the air, flying over Elon, seeing all the buildings, it's just I don't know, it's kind of my yoga.
Ladd is in the process of obtaining his private instrument pilot's license.
That'll just make me, I guess, certified to fly small planes with a couple people in them.
Ladd says school can feel meaningless at times, but when he flies, it gives him a sense of accomplishment.
It's a really liberating feeling to actually feel like you're accomplishing something.
Flying isn't just about getting in a plane and taking off.
It's hard work, and Wyatt is using the new heights to bond with some old pros.
It's something that my grandfather did on my mom's side, and my dad did, so, you know, it's kind of in the family.
Once Lad receives his license, he says he can't wait to share the experience with his old man.
Hopefully, you know, we'll be doing some plane hopping soon together, so very excited about it.
Until the day he can receive his license, he is just enjoying the ride and the open skies.
My only complaint would be that I don't get to do it enough.
Zora Stevenson, Elon, local news.
Lad takes classes at Burlington Aviation 3 times a week and hopes to receive his license by the end of the year.
You can't avoid them everywhere you look. There you are. In another selfie, we found one student who is taking photos to the next level.
Over break, you find yourself playing in the snow, you might be tempted to take a selfie. As millennials, we love to document and publicize every life experience, and one Elon student in particular takes that job very seriously. Our Mackenzie Roberts explains how.
About 3.
At least 6.
I take like 20.
That's the number of selfies or pictures people take of themselves in one day. This trend has become increasingly popular since the start of social media applications like Instagram and Snapchat.
Snapchat has kind of become synonymous with just taking a picture. You don't say, oh, that person's probably taking a picture over there. You say, oh, that person's taking a Snapchat.
The app allows users to show their friends either a 10-second video or 10 seconds of a photo that they've taken before it disappears.
I like to look at it as more of a positive thing rather than a narcissistic, self-obsessed phenomenon.
Powell Mansfield says that he has approximately 8,000 selfies on his iPhone.
I've been taking selfies since I was able to pick up a camera and point it to myself.
Selfies have become so popular that now there's even a selfie stick to help you capture the perfect picture.
People kind of expect it now, so it's not too weird if you're walking around pointing a camera at yourself.
Mansfield says he doesn't mind taking a selfie in public anymore.
I ignore the haters, and I embrace the funny looks they give me when I do take a selfie.
Mansfield says he will always have the camera pointing to himself. Mackenzie Roberts, Elon, local news.
Although he says he takes roughly 16 selfies each day, he thinks people will eventually lose interest in the fad.
And as the spring semester begins, internship and applications and deadlines are approaching. Fast AR John Curtis spoke with a professor who can help you brand yourself.
And tweets, status updates, and LinkedIn pages are all things Ashley Penny sees every day. She is the Associate Director of Employee Relations and says LinkedIn has become one of the best tools for marketing yourself.
For students is really powerful is for informational interviews. For a couple different searches, you can find alumni who live in certain cities, who work in certain industries, and you can connect with them through LinkedIn and do an informational interview.
While Penny is a big proponent of branding yourself on social media, she also stresses the importance of being careful how you do so.
Definitely avoid negativity. No one wants to work with a complainer or a whiner, someone has an opinion about everything. Be positive, be uplifting.
Penny also suggests students avoid putting generic descriptions when describing themselves.
You're not trying to brand yourself as a student. It's a professional site. And a lot of students say, well, I'm a student. I'm a first year, I'm a second year. I don't have any internships yet. That's okay. But instead, let's put aspiring public relations professional. Or let's put your highest role at Elon.
For Penny, it all comes down to 3 words. Just be careful.
You just never know who's looking. You never know how they're going to perceive something.
And John is in studio now with tips from the Student Professional Development Center on how to further perfect your resume. John?
Thank you, Preston. I reached out to the SPDC and asked for the 3 most common mistakes students make while on social media. First, individuals forget to look themselves up on Google. A quick search can turn up some photos you may have thought were long in the past. The second most common mistake, students swearing and posting photos of themselves drinking on social media. And lastly, students simply forgetting to add a professional photo to their LinkedIn accounts. If you can avoid these common mistakes, then you should be able to start applying for those summer internships. Helping you better brand yourself on social media, I'm John Curtis. Back to you.
A lot of videos get their 15 seconds of fame thanks to social media. One video making the rounds lately features a familiar setting from an unusual perspective. Yeah, that is the Mosley Center, and that is Elon Jr. Chris Coble.
If you think about it, there's nowhere that says do not climb.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
No, I kid.
I always look for the signs.
The video is part of Coble's audition for the popular obstacle course reality show American Ninja Warrior.
There's a lot of people doing American Ninja Warrior. You know, I'm just another cookie in the cookie pot.
No. I don't think so.
Cookie jar. Cookie jar. Curses.
A former competitive rock climber, Coble didn't reach the roof of the library overnight, and certainly not without a few scares. One of those scares came 60 feet up an 80-foot cliff.
And I was just in a bad position of just like, Chris, what am I doing? Like, you could easily die right now. So I ended up praying and just be like, Lord, please help your old servant out here. Really appreciate that.
Although Chris doesn't use a harness, he says his Christian faith is the only safety net he needs.
Things are going to happen the way they're going to happen, and like God's got a plan. And so you can try to control things on how you want to do it and how you see fit. But eventually, at the end of the day, like, it's going to happen how his plan.
Coble's philosophies don't exclusively apply to rock climbing.
Oh, yes. Any challenge is a great challenge.
Whether it's scaling buildings or cliffs, Coble's mentality is the same.
If you just look at it like a positive outlook and just like, no, I can do this, then you'd be surprised on what you can do.
But also,
I mean, accidents can happen, so, you know, send a quick prayer beforehand.
a lesson we could all use, even here on the ground.
Nice.
Has reached more than 400 views on YouTube, and he should hear back from the show in the spring. And now we're going to go to Zora to see what's coming up in sports.
Coming up after the break, we'll have all you need to know about sports here on campus. Stay tuned. Thanks for sticking with Elon Local News. I'm Zora Stevenson here with your sports update. Breaking at this hour, Elon women's basketball coach Charlotte Smith has been elected to the North Carolina Sports Hall of Fame. Smith was a standout player at the University of North Carolina, scoring the game winner of the 1994 National Championship game. Smith is currently in her 4th year at the helm of Elon women's basketball. Congrats, coach. And the women's basketball team just played in a tough match against Northeastern. This one couldn't be decided in regulation, so the Phoenix had to go to overtime. Freshman Shea Burnett dominated in OT to lead Elon to an 80-77 victory over Northeastern. Elon now moves to 12-7 on the season. The men's basketball team put an end to a 4-game losing streak, defending Delaware 94-82 behind a career high from senior Austin Hamilton. Fellow senior Kevin Blake chipped in with about 19 points and a few key defensive stops. With the win, the Phoenix improved to 11-10 this season, and Elon will head to the North Carolina coast to play the UNC Wilmington Seahawks. Legendary Duke basketball coach Mike Krzyzewski became the first Division I men's basketball coach in history to reach 1,000 career wins when his Blue Devils defeated St. John's University on Sunday. Upon returning to Duke's campus Sunday night, hundreds of Duke students and fans greeted the basketball team outside of the basketball arena to celebrate the achievement. Fans then headed to Krzyzewskiville, where they hung out and started camping for Duke's game against rival UNC on February 18th. That's all we have for you for Sports Day. Thanks for watching, and back to you, Ashley and Preston.
That is all tonight for Elon Local News. Thank you for joining us.
For all the latest news, like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at Elon Local News.
Have a great fake break, Elon.